I can't type. I don't take dictation. I won't sharpen pencils. I can't file. My boss calls me indispensable.
Miss Jones.
Just a minute.
Will you make a copy of this?
Naturally. I push the button on the Xerox 914. I make perfect copies of whatever my boss needs by just turning a knob and pushing a button. Anything he can see, I can copy in black and white on ordinary paper. And am I fast? I can make 7 copies in a minute. By the way, I never need wet chemicals. My 914 is a dry machine, powder dry. Sometimes my boss asks me which is the original, and sometimes I don't know. Here, Mr. Smith, I'm going to lunch with Mother.
When did you start baking from scratch?
It's not scratch, Mom. It's new Pillsbury Plus.
A yellow cake this firm could only be from scratch.
It's Pillsbury Plus.
A cake this moist could only be from scratch. A cake this rich could only be from scratch.
It's Pillsbury Plus. The plus is pudding. Pudding right in the mix to add that moistness.
Rich flavor. New Pillsbury Plus, huh? Looks like scratch has met its match.
Know how I save money with unsweetened Kool-Aid and sugar, just like my mom did. I remember how she'd mix a big pitcher full. Kool-Aid was so good and so inexpensive. It's still as delicious as ever. Today, with my sugar, it's about 12 cents a quart. Has vitamin C, too. I like giving Kathy what my mom gave me.
Kool-Aid brand soft drink mix and your sugar. You loved it as a kid, you trusted it as a mother.
Why are women so happy about new Tickle antiperspirant? Is it because Tickle is the first roll-on with a big, wide ball? Is it because Tickle has a new, quick-drying formula? Or is it because Tickle helps keep you dry all day? Make yourself happy. Staying drier is nicer with a little Tickle.
America's been waiting for a family show about a real family.
Maybe you're just old-fashioned. Yeah, maybe.
A show that reveals the joys and the sorrows.
You better all dig down and find your pennies, because this family could be in deep financial trouble.
The triumphs and the defeats of real people.
Mary, would you lay off him? I was just trying to do his job.
The Bradfords are the family. 8 is Enough is the show. Right after Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley.
Day out here stretches from sunup to sundown, but there's always time for a Marlboro, the cigarette that gives you flavor, rich and full.
You get a lot to like with a Marlboro filter, flavor, pack or box.
Come to where the flavor.
We don't advocate the usage of tobacco products, but you're an adult, so it's your choice, right?
Cigarette, Marlboro Menthol Green. Just ask for Marlboro Green. Unless you're already smoking famous Marlboro Red. Red or green, you get a lot to like in Marlboro country.
I hereby dub you the Easter Bunny.
Wednesday, a special family presentation narrated by Fred Astaire.
The Easter Bunny is coming to town today.
Let's all have a happy Easter.
The Easter Bunny's coming to town.
That's right. This Sunday.
Hi, I'm Sandy Duncan, and like most everybody, I am a snack lover. In fact, right now, I love some Wheat Thins. Wheat Thins taste really good, and they're full of natural whole wheat. So they make a terrific snack right out of the box, or you could put something on top. Look, when you're having a snack, why not have something really good? Wheat Thins. They call them the light little cracker with the big wheat taste from Nabisco.
Greetings, Cyber Patriots. It's Irate Prostate. It's Monday. You know what that means. It's time for Extra Credit from GULAG with the one and only BECCA FERHLE'S.
Hey, guys.
That music just makes me want to march. I just love it. Yeah, man. It's like I really love good war movies. I was watching something last night, which was it was weird because it was Nazis. And then we're being attacked by these creatures and stuff. It was really, I can't remember the name of the movie. It was so good. It was just one of those, it was a nice history, sci-fi, mashup. It's pretty good shit. Yeah, I love it.
I'll take your word for it.
Oh, they made the Russians look like horrible people.
As
yeah.
they should be.
Yeah. So I thought that, being nowadays, it's like I don't know, man. It's just it kind of impressed me because it was, hey, the Russians against like an SS group or some shit, they would do brutal shit to each other, depending on who had the upper hand. It was not pretty. Anywho. Sorry about that. We got historical for a minute there, man. Come on, Irate. We're here about...
That's what we do here.
It's here about communism, not about what you watch on TV. Damn idiot box.
Little side chats are good. Dog's going off.
What's going on with the side chat? It's hard for me to do the side chat when I'm doing like the production shit.
I got your back.
I know you do. I know you do. We family, we're good. Alles ist gut, ja. Ja. Wir sind alles gut. So, thus begins another week. I don't know if anybody out there in the chat saw the Ted Cruz's phone recordings that he made at the Donna, Texas Detention Center, or whatever the fuck center they're calling it.
Yeah,
man. They're really worried about the coof, y'all. Just saying. They
gotta love all that transparency they keep saying they want.
Yeah. Well, Obama said that shit. We're going to be the most transparent thing. I remember when he said it in 2005. During
As they
speech.
Carry off reporters from the tarmac and shit.
Well, and Obama, he had people had the FBI looking into people and shit. He fucked up with the James Rosen guy where Fox News was. They investigated his parents and shit. I mean, they
used the IRS to.
They got personal.
The
and then the Tea Party people, right, with the IRS. So, weaponizing the government. You know what that's a sign of, don't you, Becca?
What?
Communism.
Isn't it though? I am just so happy that America is great once again and we went back to our old ways.
Yeah, I was on Facebook earlier, and somebody, part of town I grew up in, they said, back when the Galleria, which is this gigantic monstrosity of a shopping mall, and this interstate were gone. You know, I remember, you know, back that far, and I said, man, it used to be a lot more fun. You know, because they were reminiscing and stuff, and I was like, yeah, it was a lot more fun. Then again, yeah.
And it's going to be illegal soon. So.
Well, laughing's going to be illegal, I bet you, at some point.
You know, comedy is not meant for laughing. It's for clapping and cheering on their narrative.
Well, of course, glorifying the regime.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Comedy is for political messages, guys.
Yep.
Ooh, this coffee is hitting me now.
Yeah, yeah, you picking it up? Before we get going, let's say hi to some people out here. I see some. Let's go. I'm going to go very beginning because I think I saw Bubonic, man. Hey, man, what's up? Boom, shouting at clouds. What's up, man? It's nice to see you around. Madness, greetings. Of course, your boy Pat. You know what it's about, dude. FTW Neil, greetings, sir. Mr. Goldman, we have been blessed back. We've been blessed by Legot. Yes, we. His hooves are special and they are medically magical. Tom of Loxley, greetings. Crash Jester, what's up? Yeah, man. I know, dude. Tripcast, greetings, sir. Nobody not me. Greetings. Spittle Buggies, what's up? And all right, Tom of Loxley, I said your name earlier. So have I got everybody? Who am I missing?
And we have Kat Sheehan, I think is how you say the.
And Aaron Meredith, greetings.
And Aaron. An evil one is going to be lurking.
Hey, evil one, what's up, man? Yeah, and this will be a good one to lurk, if you know, because it's vocally driven. It comes off more like a podcast now. I modified it a little bit and clean it up and try to, you know, I don't. It's not about I'm trying to make money, you know, off of this stuff. The idea is I want people to be able to access it. Right, like last week we got yeeted because of, you know, copyright stuff, but I still think that people need to see that second half, and I don't know. I bet when we're done with this, we might want to talk about doing like an extra one that we can premiere. Well, we can't premiere it on Twitch anyway. We'll work on it. I don't know. Maybe I'll
find a way.
Maybe I'll just do it. But anywho, so you were talking about like morons in your life today. What's that been like?
You know, Twitter is my playground. I like to troll over there, but for some reason, this one bitch really set me off because she's an idiot. Taking screenshots of someone's tweet and bitching that he used another tweet, use that person's first name when it's clearly in her account, and then it was complaining, oh, she's an intern, why you gotta do this to an intern? Okay, well, she's an adult, she's on Twitter, she's using her real name. Grow the fuck up.
Exactly.
For some reason it just rubbed me the wrong way.
If you're gonna dance right, pay the piper, right?
Right.
You know, if you're gonna play, you gotta pay. You know,
exactly.
That's Merca for you, and I'm damn proud of that. So yes, Duck Dog, I saw you. Moonbase Radio too, both of you.
Mason is here too.
Mason, I thought I did. I thought I said hey to Mason. I think I did when I saw his name.
I don't know.
I said hey to myself, I think. Right? I didn't open my mouth and use it. Yeah. All right. So everything under 2 hours is going up on Odyssey, shouting at clouds, and Yeah, the bit sheet's always an option. I've got that whole episode, and I can, edit the part where we were trying to figure out, what the fuck was going on, and put it back together and up it on bit sheet for sure. I've got stuff all over the place. I try to have as much, backups and recordings or copies of stuff. That's my thing. So I'm very happy. I'm proud of what I'm doing, man. And
That's some good stuff that we're.
Yeah, it is.
Man,
I feel like I'm being helpful to society and I know that sounds gay. I'll shut up. I'm just thinking, I can't do a lot, and I hope this is helpful for people, because I do think that man, there's a lot of chinks in the armor, dude. I don't mean I didn't think about the Chinese and the chinks, and I forgot. You should run that by your decision maker there, Irate. You kind of got by the goalie on that one. But I do see vulnerabilities, and lack of knowledge of enemies to our personal liberty. And the main thrust of that coming in the form of anti-communistic propaganda, which I proudly present every Monday with Miss BECCA.
Indeed.
Yeah, we were both educated differently. I grew up right in the middle of the Cold War, and so I probably got like their A game. They had like 15 or 20 years to work it up, and so when I was in school, we got a full blast. Hero worship.
And we just taught, hey, this happened, no big deal, everything's over, kumbaya.
Yep. So, all right, so what we got, all right, video wise, is we've got an interview with a defecting Chinese spy, and this is 60 Minutes, Australia. And it's from Sky EU, which I highly recommend, man. It's better than our news,
Yes,
it's better than anything we got, and I'm including Fox. Say yes again, BECCA.
Is going.
Oh, there you
yes.
go. Okay, good. You did good. All right.
Yeah, Fox has been going left way before the election.
Yeah.
So. Writing's on the wall. I haven't watched Fox in years. So.
Yeah. Well, you keep it on, It's like I like Tucker, me.
Yeah, Tucker's not too bad. But people need to remember Tucker is not a conservative. He's traditional liberal, I guess you would call him. And he does call out a lot of bullshit, but there's some things I will disagree with. Which... we're not all meant to be in an echo chamber and agree with each other.
Right.
Or get into that tribalism BS. So me disagreeing with him is not me hating on him. It's just I have a different view on some of the economic stuff. But, anywho.
Well, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Well, I told someone that before and they were like, oh my gosh. How can you not agree with him for everything on everything? And I'm just like, tribalism.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, dude, he was on the 5 today, and he was really fucking with Juan right at the beginning. Juan Williams.
I can't stand Juan.
Oh my God, they were like it was like a thing. It was like you could feel some tension there. So
yeah, Juan's one of the reasons why I stopped watching Fox.
Really?
Can't handle it. I loved the 5, but
you see, you know who's putting me off of it the most is Donna Brazil. I can't stand that lady.
Oh, it was before she was added on. Who was the guy that left? And he had his own spot before Tucker, I think.
Oh, Bill O'Reilly.
No. He was like at the 4 o'clock, 5 p.m.
On the 5?
And I think he was gay. He was liberal. I want to say it was Shep.
Oh, Shepard Smith. Yeah, he did the news. Yeah.
Yeah. He was another one that turned me off from Fox News. I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
I give him a spot.
He's at MSNBC now.
Yeah. Go figure.
Yeah, I know. Well, at least he came out, what I heard. He's a big he's a big Mississippi Ole Miss fan, so we give him a pass on the other shit, because we love beating Ole Miss's ass every year.
I'll just cheer for who you cheer for.
That's right.
If you're the sports guy, I'm not really.
The phrase is "Roll Tide."
Roll Tide.
That's right. All right.
Alabama.
It's a good time. All right, so let's go ahead. Yeah, exactly. All right, so I'm sorry, y'all, if my mic sounds too loud. I just had to dial that back. I don't know why it went so high. So, all right, so we'll go ahead and start this thing, this interview. So buckle up, y'all. This is good stuff. All right, I was riveted, and I was editing I was, like I said, I was doing kind of like a Stewie kind of thing, try to modify it.
It's probably a safe bet that the all-powerful Chinese President Xi Jinping is not a regular viewer of Cinemitics, but he'll certainly want to see this story. And that's because, from his point of view, it's all about the unthinkable. A Chinese spy, one of his own people, is betraying him, breaking ranks and defecting to the West. Australia, to be more specific. Tonight, China's dirty secrets will be revealed by a very brave man, who's now placed a very big target on himself. And be in no doubt, what Wang Liqiang is doing is so dangerous, speaking publicly is probably the only way to save his life.
Hi Nick, are you around? We have something you might be interested in. An informant came to see us in relation to wanting to expose how the Chinese spy network works around the world.
As an investigative reporter, there are very few times I've received a message this important. It's late October, and one of my sources tells me a spy for the Chinese Communist Party wants to blow his cover.
Today, this guy was actually being followed. He realised that if he doesn't expose this soon, his life might be in danger.
I arranged to meet him in an airport hotel in Sydney. And what Wang William Liqiang reveals is stunning and unprecedented. Are you scared in speaking out?
To tell the truth, inside of me, I am extremely frightened.
This is a confession like no other. Never before has a Chinese spy gone public in this way. In from the cold, our insider admits personal involvement in a series of Chinese espionage missions. In Hong Kong, violence and kidnappings aimed at disrupting the democracy movement. And in Taiwan, a master plan to bring down the president. What risk is he taking in speaking out and going public?
Death. Death not just for him, but for his whole family.
The fate of Wang Liqiang and his young family now rests with the Australian government. He's told them Chinese spies are operating here with impunity. And tonight we corroborate his claims by exposing the operation to place an agent in our parliament.
It was like something out of a spy novel. This isn't just cash in a bag, given for favours. This is a state-sponsored attempt to infiltrate our parliament, and Australians should be very, very concerned about this.
If you're talking, I can't hear you.
Wang William LeChang has painted for as long as he can remember. He loves the feeling of freedom and self-expression it brings him. And yet these are the very privileges he's devoted his adult life to destroying by working as a spy. Were you working as a Chinese intelligence officer?
是的.
Yes. At 27, Wang's fresh-faced appearance belies a disturbing reality. For years, he says he's performed undercover espionage operations on behalf of the Chinese government.
全家人没有一个人知道，直到我到
None of my family members knew until I came to Australia and applied for a protection visa.
Wang says his life as a spy began when he was enlisted to work for a so-called investment company based in Hong Kong. But it was actually a front for Chinese government spy agencies. And he alleges his boss, Xiang Xin, was a high-ranking military official.
吸纳我成为他的重要
He was trying to recruit me as a core member.
He took you into his trust.
是的。
Yes. To be honest, as a Chinese national, this was attractive.
这个职业
As in, it's attractive to be a spy.
当时我们
At that time, the word spy didn't cross our mind. We just thought that those things were the tasks we need to do for the country.
One of Wang's first missions in Hong Kong was to sabotage the city's independence movement. For months now, the streets here have resembled a battle zone, with rolling protests and escalating violence.
All right, and from what I just read, this premiered in November of 2019. How timely.
Yeah.
But the fight for control of Hong Kong has really been going on for much longer. For the first time, Wang reveals Beijing's secret strategies.
This is something I really want to let the public know. I know very well the way they operate.
To achieve his mission, Wang was ordered to infiltrate universities, to convert students away from democracy movements and into the arms of the Chinese Communist Party.
派他们加入学生会，对这些学生会的
We sent some mainland students to join the Students' Association, and they pretended to support Hong Kong independence. They found out information about those pro-independence activists, then we attacked them verbally and made public all their personal data, as well as the data of their parents and family members. In such a way, it
Whoa. Did they just say they doxed them completely and their families too?
Yeah. Doesn't that sound so familiar?
Dude. I mean, wow, that's uncanny as hell. The disruption, that he's describing is really quite apparent, with what's going on in this country, in the U.S. right now.
Yeah, like the common theme that we've seen since we've started this show is that they start in the schools, not necessarily K through 12, but the college kids. That seems to be where they hit first.
Indeed, Becca is right on.
effectively silence them.
派他们加入学生会，对
Did you instruct people to gather intelligence or information about dissidents, students, democracy activists?
首先还是这样讲，他们都不一定知道自己这种行为是间谍。
They didn't necessarily know that they were spying. The students in Australia and the other countries were not even aware that the so-called information collecting was espionage.
他都不知道他自己是一个间谍的行为。
Yeah.
It's not something he's proud of, but Wang says many of the students he influenced are now involved in the violent clashes with pro-democracy students, as we've seen again this week.
也一直
I influenced them with patriotism, guiding them to love the country, love the party and our leaders, and fight back strongly against those independence and democracy activists in Hong Kong.
秀的这种精神，对
Could Wang ever come back here to Hong Kong?
No, he can't. He just can't do it. If he's for him to survive,
To stay alive.
to stay alive, he can't come back here.
Philip Gregory has spent years trying to expose Chinese spies. He says Wang's revelations about Beijing's activities in Hong Kong will ignite tensions. How rare is it that he's doing what he's doing?
This is once in a lifetime kind of situation. The fact that he's risked so much, and that he's so articulate about what he's doing, the fact that he can name names, this is incredible. You can have a rumour, but if you name names, it's a different story.
It's not just universities where Wang's spy operation worked its influence.
Many Western media outlets and politicians describe such activities as peaceful protests.
His extraordinary claim is that his boss infiltrated local media from inside major Hong Kong television networks.
They're always peaceful. All the fires are kumbaya fires. Yeah. Yes.
Does that have a ring of authenticity to it?
Absolutely. I mean, controlling the message is what it's all about. The idea is to get the message right to the people that need to know it. And in China, that's the party's message.
As a specialist in counter-espionage, Philip Gregory has watched our interview with Wang and scrutinised his claims. What are your impressions?
A young man full of incredible torment. A brave man. Someone who's really believes what he's saying.
You call him brave. How brave?
Incredibly brave. To a point that the only thing that I think sustains this man is his strong belief in what he's doing, and in particular on freedom for himself and for his children.
What would happen to you if you went back to China?
试想，一个间谍的背叛组织。
Imagine the consequence of a spy betraying the organization.
给我老婆父亲提拔升职。
I know very well that the Chinese Communist Party can never be trusted. Once I go back, I will be dead.
可以说是死无葬身之地。
Coming up, that's not your name, is it? Disguise, no, distortion and deceit.
We established a cyber army. I gave the orders.
Kidnapping and other crimes. You're making some big statements, but is he telling the truth?
Every detail can stand up to scrutiny.
That's next on... Wang William Leqiang is the first Chinese spy to ever publicly blow his cover in Australia. He's exposing secrets about China's interference operations around the world. But in exchange, he urgently wants our protection. Wang, you're making some big statements. Why should Australia or Australians believe you?
我发出这个声明
If I don't tell the truth, the Australian government will not protect me. There is no benefit for me. Every detail and every incident I have spoken about can stand up to scrutiny.
没必要
We've come here to Hong Kong to verify parts of our insider story. It's a place that for him is far too dangerous to ever come back to. Wang says one of his most alarming assignments for Beijing was an operation that terrified the people of Hong Kong and caused international uproar.
4 others connected to the bookstore have reportedly disappeared in just the last 2 months.
It was late 2015 when, one by one, 5 owners of the Causeway Bay bookshop disappeared, only to reappear in detention on China's mainland. It's widely believed the abductions were ordered because the store was selling anti-Communist Party books. But Beijing's always denied it. And to be fair, there's never...
Well, and it was against the treaty that they had signed for the takeover, all right? This is before any of that had come up. So they obviously broke the treaty and had intended to from the beginning. Xi Jinping implemented a new plan, man.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, you know, you can say what you want to about him. The guy is, you know, I wouldn't want to play chess with him. I'll be honest with you.
And then you see, so I always, with everything that we watch, I always compare it to present day and how our country is going the same way as these other ones. So they're attacking certain books. Countries
Right.
doing the same thing. There's a lot of books that Amazon and what is it called? Apple bookstore that they're just completely removing them, refusing to allow them platform to sell their books. So I draw another common thing with this and our current situation.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep rolling. I'm pondering. It's got me pondering this stuff here.
Never been any proof. Until now. Is it right that you helped organise the Causeway Bay bookshop kidnapping?
可以这样说吧，因为我是
You may say so, as I was one of the insiders who ordered the task.
任务的一个执行者。
This is the first time an agent inside the kidnapping operation has broken ranks. Most of the victims, like this man, Li Bo, were terrified of reprisals and so refused to admit they were kidnapped.
我就想偷偷地返嚟內地。
But Wang tells a very different story.
而且这个事情
We were directly involved in coordinating the kidnapping of Li Bo.
参与协调的。
Wang says he personally delivered the orders from his boss to the kidnapping team.
而我们只
My boss's organization is in direct contact with the Chinese side.
And what were the orders that you gave to the person you contacted?
抓捕李波，
Arrest Li Bo as soon as possible.
然后的特工
He sent 6 agents who took Li Bo from the storeroom of Causeway Bay Books directly to mainland China.
并且带了桂明海的那个老家。
It's just here, the bookshop. It was a major incident because people were just expressing their views.
Australian intelligence expert Philip Gregory knows the bookshop case well. And he's travelled with us to Hong Kong to help test Wang's story.
So, the sign says it's closed.
The Chinese state has always denied the kidnappings. Why is what our insider has to say about it so important?
Because he gives us the detail. From an intelligence point of view, what he's doing here is really pinpointing the series of actions that led up to it and giving us very clear insight as to why it happened and how it happened.
How will the Chinese state view him talking about the Causeway Bay bookshop kidnappings?
They'll see it as an essential betrayal. He's put himself against the biggest state in the world.
The details Wang is risking his life to reveal are extraordinary. But from our investigation, they hold up. In Hong Kong, we checked names, addresses, company details, and we've spoken to confidential sources. On the 22nd floor of this tower is the headquarters of Wang's spy operation. Business records link it to the Chinese military's weapons arm. The link hints at yet another of Wang's stunning revelations, that his organisation was allegedly involved in stealing US military intelligence.
To steal US intelligence is absolutely my boss's most important work. Why? He mentioned on many occasions that the US had been closely monitoring him because much of the US intelligence he had stolen was obtained in other countries.
Philip Gregory says Wang's decision to release insider secrets like this one will incense the Chinese Communist Party.
This is a threat that needs to be taken care of from their point of view. So I would have thought that we need to be extra vigilant with this young man.
He's, by speaking out, given himself a death sentence, effectively.
Long term, he has to face the prospect that his life will be always under threat because they will not forget.
Coming up,
being followed, really scary.
Made in China.
We could instantly take down their Facebook.
The plan to overthrow a foreign leader.
Taiwan is in the front line. All democratic countries should pay attention.
And the plot to infiltrate Australia.
He was cultivated by Chinese government to run as a Liberal Party candidate.
That's next on Stanisticus. Most spies will face a moment, however fleeting, when their loyalty falters. But rarely does it lead to an operative abandoning his country and spilling its secrets. That's what makes Wang William Liqiang's decision so unusual. That's you in the photo?
Yeah.
Is that your date of birth?
No.
That's not your name, is it?
No.
He says his moment of truth came 6 months ago, with the arrival of a fake passport. It triggered a deep fear that he was about to lose his true identity forever. When did you decide to become a defector?
I was given the task to go to Taiwan. This time I was to change my name, my whole identity, to go to Taiwan and be a spy there. This is the main reason I came to Australia to seek asylum.
The mission Wang's bosses planned for him in Taiwan would have been his most critical yet.
U.S. Navy chiefs sailed their warships through the strategic and highly sensitive Taiwan Strait today.
Taiwan is the major fault line between the world's two most powerful countries, the US and China. Some experts say tensions over Taiwan could even spark war. But as Wang reveals, a secret battle is already being waged.
Among all issues, what the Chinese Communist Party is most concerned about is the unification of Taiwan. then Xi Jinping's position would be unshakable.
Our insider says Beijing wants to topple Taiwan's current US-friendly president, and its master plan to do it will alarm the world. Is it right what you're saying your job was to meddle in Taiwan's upcoming presidential election secretly for the Chinese government?
Yes, that's why I needed to change my name and not use my true identity.
Was your ultimate aim to make sure the current president of Taiwan was not elected?
Yes. Taiwan was the most important work of ours. The infiltration into media, temples, and grassroots organizations.
Temples like this one were targeted by Wang's operation because they're such important political and social hubs here in Taiwan. His ultimate aim was to undermine the Taiwanese president because she's considered hostile by Beijing. The world woke up to the reality of election meddling when Russia was exposed for interfering in the 2016 US election.
They use sophisticated cyber techniques to hack into computers and networks used by the Clinton campaign.
It's eerily similar to what's now playing out in Taiwan. Deputy Foreign Minister Su Qianshu is convinced his country's political system is under cyber attack from Beijing. But his government has never been able to prove it. Are you concerned?
Severely, yes. Gravely. We are gravely concerned about this.
Why should the international community care about?
All right, I'll be honest with y'all. This is suspect right here. I'm sure that they can figure out who's doing it. You know, even the VPNs wouldn't be available if they couldn't backtrack to them. I'm just saying.
Right.
I think the illusion of being, you know, not being monitored is, you know, it's worth $9.99 a month.
What is going on in Taiwan?
Taiwan is in the front line. So it's not only an issue between China, the Communist China and Taiwan. It's an issue between two political camps in the world. So what's happening in Taiwan today is a good example for what will happen in other parts of the world. And I think all democratic countries should pay attention to what's going on in Taiwan.
Democracy here is hard-won and fiercely protected. At this rally, political factions fight it out in a passionate, if at times overzealous, display of freedom of speech and political expression. Taiwan's democracy looks healthy, but Wang claims it's under attack, and he should know. One of his key missions was to back the presidential candidate appearing here tonight by secretly meddling in the election. This is presidential candidate Han Kuo-yu. He's preferred by Beijing and boasts an army of backers. But during last year's local elections, he had a secret army too. Wang knows this because he was their boss.
We established a cyber army. If we wanted to attack someone, we could instantly take down their Facebook. I was responsible for organizing the cyber army attacks, and a large number of people involved were university students.
And you were giving orders?
I gave the orders. We changed their IP addresses to other countries so they would not be identified. Once our messages were out, online public opinion would follow.
Wang reveals his organization also has control over operatives working at Taiwan's leading media outlets, who were directed to shift public debate in Beijing's favor.
Right now, we are facing multiple threats.
Do you think some within the Chinese Communist Party fear Taiwan's system of democracy?
Definitely. I mean, China has an authoritarian regime. Xi Jinping is his intent to disrupt our democracy, to undermine.
I want everybody to know, bubonic for you makes an excellent point. So the fact that the CCP is involved with them is a signal. Oh shit! It just jumped on me. No, that feels scribe light. The signal from that the CIA and the CCP are working hand in hand. Keep that in mind. Yeah. Spy agencies, they're doing a thing, right? And it's kind of like I don't know how to describe it. It's like people going to each other's backyards and trying to I don't know. It just there's this bizarre understanding. Back in the day during the Cold War, it was actively hostile, but here I don't know. I think that the Chinese are finesse. I think a lot more gracefully than I think maybe where the Russians did, but I don't know. It is what it is. So yeah, keep that in mind. It's like you never know what's going on. Oh Lord, I wish to God we had an honest government. But hey,
I think it will always be corrupt because of the idea of power and money.
It may be a shit show, but it's the best shit show going on right now. So, I kind of want to keep things like they were. I would, if I could go back in time, I would go back to right before the Patriot Act and protest that.
That was one of the worst fucking things, and they used our fear and insecurities to get that rolling.
Gee,
doing that shit again.
That's what I was about to say. It's not like they're repeating themselves. We're going to use fear to beat these people into submission. So let's keep rolling. This is an interesting interview, isn't it?
Our government's credibility. And to decrease our citizens' trust in our government.
Would it surprise you to learn that the Chinese government is sending intelligence operatives into Taiwan with the order to interfere in the election?
If we understand how Chinese Communist Party runs their government, we won't be surprised by that.
Wang says he's supposed to be in Taiwan right now, carrying out his orders to sabotage the upcoming presidential election. Instead, since May, he's been hiding out in Australia, where his wife is studying and living with their 2-year-old son. It's taken 5 months for Wang to gather the courage to contact the Australian government and ask for protection.
Why did it take me so long to stand up? It was because during this period of time, they had been continuously trying to persuade me to come back, including following me in Australia.
You say you were followed. What happened?
They wanted to see whom and what kind of people I made contact with, to track my movements and find out my address. I have moved house 3 times within such a short time, and I may move again in the future. It's the feeling of being followed is really scary.
Coming up, was Nixau working for Asia Mystery in Melbourne?
A guy who was a bit of a high roller, living beyond his means.
A Chinese plot.
It was surreal, like something out of the spinal.
To penetrate our government.
The first thing I'd be doing is recruit him.
That's next. It's early March, and a cleaner at a motel in suburban Melbourne has discovered a body on the floor of a room. The dead man is Nick Zhao, a Melbourne car dealer and a young father of one. His death is sudden and mysterious, and whispers begin to spread not only among his friends and family, but through Australia's intelligence world too. When did you first hear about Nick Zhao?
I heard about Nick Zhao several months ago.
What did you hear?
I heard that he was a 32-year-old Melbourne resident, cultivated by the Chinese government to run as a Liberal Party candidate in the Commonwealth Parliament, and Nick Zhao is now dead.
Federal MP Andrew Hastie chairs the Parliamentary Joint Committee on Intelligence and Security. He's been briefed on the suspicious circumstances surrounding the death of Nick Zhao, including allegations he was targeted by a Chinese spy ring.
It was surreal. It was like something out of a spy novel, happening in Melbourne with impunity, and very, very concerning.
Nick Zhao projected an image of success, flush with cash, fast cars and big plans to expand his auto business. In 2015, he joined the Liberal Party in the East Melbourne seat of Chisholm.
He was a paid-up member, which means he was likely active in his branch and division.
I love Chisholm.
The seat is currently held by Australia's first Chinese-born female MP, Gladys Liu. In September, she faced accusation she was a Manchurian candidate, planted by the Chinese Communist Party. The Prime Minister defended her.
I applaud the member for Chisholm. She's a great Australian who deserves to be in this house.
The story generated plenty of smoke, but very little fire. But something far more sinister had been happening in her electorate. We can reveal that prior to his death, Liberal Party member Nick Zhao claims to have been approached in Melbourne by a suspected Chinese spy ring and offered an extraordinary assignment. The young father was promised a 7-figure sum in exchange for him running as a political candidate in federal parliament.
Nick himself, I think, was a perfect target for cultivation. A guy who was a bit of a high roller in Melbourne, living beyond his means, someone who was vulnerable to a foreign state intelligence service cultivating.
This case, with strong and clinical allegations and evidence of an actual plot to infiltrate our parliament, seems to go much further than anything we've heard to date. How important, how different, how serious is it?
Well, this isn't just cash in a bag, given for favours. This is a state-sponsored attempt to infiltrate our parliament using an Australian citizen and basically run them as an agent of foreign influence in our democratic system. So this is really significant, and Australians should be very, very concerned about this.
Sources say the suspected Chinese spy ring that targeted Nick Zhao is under investigation by ASIO. We can expose the identity of the man who, according to Nick Zhao, told him to infiltrate our parliament. His name is Brian Chen, and our investigation shows he appears to be a busy Chinese businessman who bounces between Melbourne and Asia. But when he last passed through Melbourne Airport, he was interrogated by Australian authorities and accused of being a spy. In Hong Kong, we tracked down his office. Corporate records confirm he's in business with the Chinese military's main weapons company, Norinco. What does his profile tell us about his likely connection to Chinese military intelligence?
It just looks like a trail across the sky, from my point of view.
Australian intelligence expert Philip Gregory says there are several red flags about Brian Chen's behaviour, which would have attracted ASIO's attention.
As an analyst, the first thing I'd be doing is targeting this guy for a disruption operation, or looking to recruit him.
It seems Nick Zhao was concerned about Brian Chen too. He never followed through on Chen's alleged request to infiltrate our parliament. Instead, His associates have told us he turned to Australia's national security agency, ASIO, for help.
And at this point, I want to just stop and remind everybody of all the people that could be compromised. I don't know. Look, man, I know there's this Asian prejudice thing. It's like, but fuck that, okay? Because it's bullshit. It's made up. All right?
Yep.
This may be a tool of the CCP. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that they've got their finger in on that thing. Now that I think about it, but look at Mark Zuckerberg's wife is Chinese. Mitch McConnell's wife is Chinese. There's all these guys that have been compromised. Eric Swalwell was banging that fang, bang bang fang.
And Diane
Feinstein, right? Her chauffeur driver, was for 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
An active spy. Yeah.
How could you not know?
She knew.
I call bullshit on all of it.
Man, so we're compromised on a governmental level, in a spooky kind of way. And then there's like corporations where they're doing the dirty business thing too.
And they don't always go for people. Like the politicians directly, they'll go for their aides or the lobbyists, and not always corporations. It could be someone close to the corporation. It's amazing to think about.
Well, yeah. All right, Slappy. Yeah, his wife is Chinese, dude, and her dad was a shipping magnate. A
circus hero.
Yeah, a Chinese circus magnate. I mean, circus hero. A Chinese shipping magnate. Shipping. So anyway, but we're about done with this. So let's roll on through.
Was Nick Zhao working for ASIO?
I'm not going to go into the details of what I know. That would be improper.
We contacted Brian Chen and asked him if he knew Nick Zhao. He denied it. He also insists he's just a businessman who's been unfairly questioned by Australian authorities. But for a businessman, Brian Chen's denials are curious. For instance, he's been seen wearing a Chinese military uniform, but he says he simply likes to show off by dressing up in a costume. We asked him why he sometimes poses as a journalist at international conferences. He says it's because he simply likes to network. No one knows why Nick Zhao was found dead in a Melbourne motel room 8 months ago. There is no suggestion Brian Chen is involved. But whether it was natural causes, suicide, or something more sinister, his death means he'll never repeat his allegations about the offer to infiltrate our parliament.
Everyone should be concerned about the way that Nick Zhao died, and I think we need a full investigation where we turn over every stone, we explore every nook and cranny, we cast as much light into the shadows, and make sure that we have a full and comprehensive understanding of how he died and why he died.
You're known as being especially hostile to the Chinese Communist Party. Is this not you just engaging in a bit of China bashing?
Not at all. My bottom line is Australian sovereignty, protecting our values, our institutions, and our people. And that's why I'm speaking out.
It's why our Chinese intelligence insider is talking too. Wang William LeCheng claims he's aware of multiple Chinese spies operating in Australia right now. During a meeting with our research team, he reveals his boss in Hong Kong has current dealings with Australia's most infamously accused Chinese government agent, Huang Xiaomo. Where is Huang Xiaomo right now?
In Hong Kong, in my boss's office.
Huang Xiaomo is in Mr. Xiang's office right now.
他说黄项目现在在黄项那个。
这我们现在几点钟？我们现在几点
？12点半。Definitely, he is in his office right now.
The billionaire, who's been thrown out of Australia for his links with the Chinese Communist Party, is also being investigated for making dubious political donations. But Wang dismisses him as small fry compared to the Chinese spies Australia should be targeting.
Hang Jiangmo is definitely a small potato compared with others I know.
Are you willing to work with the Australian government to tell the government about how Chinese intelligence operates?
Since I have chosen to stand up, I am absolutely willing to cooperate.
Coming up,
he's come out into the light, hasn't he?
The dangerous consequences. Are you prepared never to see your mother, your father, you're back in China ever again? Of betraying Beijing.
I think it takes huge reserves of courage.
Is this spy a hero?
Because it's got something that affects future generations.
Or a fool? Are you worried you could be got at here?
I am very worried about my safety in Australia.
That's next. Let me kiss. At 27, Wang William LeCheng is experiencing a taste of what freedom feels like. It's a privilege he desperately wants to hold on to, not for his own sake, but for the future of his wife and 2-year-old son. What is your hope for your wife, for your son, for yourself?
I love my wife and my family. I hope that my child's future life will not be manipulated in any way, and that he can live an independent, free, healthy, and positive life.
But Wang and his family are far from free, even as they hide out here in Sydney. In the week since he came forward to us, he says he's also met with ASIO. He's seeking Australia's protection, but there are no guarantees he'll get it. Federal MP Andrew Hastie says he deserves our help.
I think it takes huge reserves of courage to step out into the public square as a former Chinese spy and reveal to the Australian public what you've been up to.
Some Australians might be instinctively hesitant to say, well, he worked for the dark side. Why should we support this man?
Well, he's come out into the light, hasn't he? And he's a friend of democracy, and I think he deserves our protection and our support.
Should the Australian government give him a protection visa?
I'm of the view that anyone who's willing to assist us in defending our sovereignty deserves our protection.
Yeah.
Wang is living in constant fear of being watched or attacked, even inside Australia. He says his boss back in Hong Kong knows he's missing in action and has already taken steps to persuade him to return. Zhang Xin denies all of Wang's allegations and says they're untrue. Overnight, police in China released a statement accusing Wang of being a convicted fraud and wanted fugitive.
Since I came to Australia in May, they have worked on me. Their threatening was in a soft way, using my family members' well-being and safety to negotiate with me.
Intelligence expert Philip Gregory says Wang's public defection now places his life and that of his family back in mainland China in grave danger.
I really feel for the incredible torment that he's now facing, and he clearly has incredible respect for his family. There's no question about that. But he sees this, what he's doing as being even more important because it's got something that affects future generations.
Condemned to a life under threat, Wang says he hopes his revelations will inspire those fighting for freedom of speech and democracy in the face of oppression from Beijing. He also wants Australia, his potential new home, to understand the Chinese Communist Party doesn't respect our sovereignty as it tries to grow its power. Are you worried you could be got at here in Australia?
其实我内心也是十分担心。
I am very worried about my safety in Australia.
包括更重要的是
More importantly, my family, my wife and child. They knew nothing about this. Now they know. They are extremely frightened. If I am got at, my family will be destroyed. I don't know what future my child would have.
And that's the end of the episode. So we'll pop into the foyer here. Get back in there.
Brings a lot of questions to mind. Like we're discussing in the chat. But it's very sus that they did this whole TV interview. Oh.
Yeah, it was right before the coup got out too.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, they might have been played. Who knows, man?
Well,
That's how insane this shit has gotten. You know, go ahead.
I was pointing out that at the start of the interview, they were saying they were doing this to highlight the actual spy to try to save him. The spotlight on him and draw attention to him. I guess their way of thinking is it would be harder for action to be taken against him.
Well, it would be obvious if he were murdered, you know, that it would have been them that did it, right?
Right. And China is very patient, so they can highlight him all they want. Like, China will wait. So if
they'll
they
just
want
sterilize
him,
him.
they'll get him.
They might take his reproductive ability away from him just with chemicals. It sounded like that kooky. Irate. I know. But you know, God knows what you know, it's like it amazes me that I live in the world that I live in now. I don't know. It's just almost like we keep sliding into these different realities. It's like, and we can't stop it. It's like Flashpoint all over again. But yeah,
Madness keeps bringing up Alyssa Lamb. Have you heard of her?
I don't know if I don't know the name, but I may know the case.
So a while back in, I believe, LA, maybe San Francisco, she stayed at a hotel and a video was released of her acting very strange as she entered a elevator and she kept looking out like somebody was following her. And then she had been missing for a month and they found her on the roof inside the water tank.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I've heard of that case. This is like a creepypasta, but that happened. It was real. I remember that on the message boards about 10 years ago. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's many theories on that. They think it was paranormal madness is what I heard, because she's not the first one to die at that hotel. And it's a reported, like, haunted place.
I thought you thought that was bullshit.
Some of it's kind of believable. I don't know if her case necessarily is, but I think Madness is trying to draw a line to CCP. I don't know her background and if she would be an interest to them. She was Canadian.
Man,
or something.
Right, and Canada is usually like where they would come in through back in the day, the old school spies. So who knows? But yeah, I had heard about that. That's right.
And I think that was like I want to say it was like 2012, 2013.
Justin Wang ought to do a thing on that shit. I ought to tweet to him or whatever, DM him and throw him that suggestion about that Lamb lady. Melissa? It's Melissa Lamb?
It's Alyssa. ELISA LAM.
Elisa, Alyssa, Lam.
Lamb.
Lamb bastard.
Lamb. I don't know how I say lamb.
Whatever. You're an American. Say it like you fucking want to.
Words
Right?
are hard, you know?
Whatever. It's America. We'll say what the fuck
That
we
just
want.
caught my eye that he was bringing that one up, because that one I'm actually familiar with. That hotel apparently has a history.
Yeah.
What else was the chat saying? I don't remember, but when I first watched this 60 Minutes interview, at first I kind of dismissed it because yes, the production of it was high.
Yeah.
The dramatics were high, and I noticed when we first started, there was a lot of comments about that in the chat. I had to mute myself because they started laughing. I was like, yeah, but the main, I guess, premise of the interview is what was interesting. If you can like pass the dramatics, it's a TV. They're gonna make it attic. And
They're gonna, as they say, sex it up.
That's right.
Yeah, and you know, it's like Australia. Is like they're like Britain meets the meets the U.S. Like, all right, so Britain and the U.S. had a bastard baby, and it's Australia, and America and Britain like want to ignore it because they would have to acknowledge that they hooked up, right? And Australia is the baby that wants the attention.
Well, China is going after Australia's ass pretty hard.
Well,
right
no,
now.
but and I was joking, friends. Just making a joke. But yeah, there was a alliance between I want to say is Australia, Japan, Taiwan, and somebody else. Maybe the U.S. Maybe that's what it was. A Pompeo thing, I think.
Bubonic in the chat was pointing out issues with South Africa, which I'm unaware of.
Oh, dude, there's wanton murder and shit going on in South Africa right now. I mean, you know, it's like if you're a white farm owner, you better, you know, you really have to protect your shit.
Yeah, he was talking about China's movements over there, but I pointed out that Taiwan is the focus, I believe. I've seen a lot of it on
but they're making a lot of moves all over the globe. They really are.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
they are.
And then Africa is definitely, you know, one. You know, I thought that maybe the coup was like a developing bioweapon designed at a certain ethno-demographic. If you can read between the lines, or Africa, because they seem like the type that they would just wipe out a race, you know, just so they won't have to deal with them and just take their shit. I think they're at that point. Look, the way that they run their government, they're most like the most Nazi Germany-like thing that we're going to see in our lifetimes, I think. Yeah.
I agree.
You know, it's like, sorry. We're just cheering people up over here, keeping them happy. And appreciate everybody stayed with us, man. Appreciate that because we know we got some friends that are live now. I do want to shill a couple things, starting with Miss Beck over here. Shill it.
Tomorrow night, 10:30 p.m. Central Standard Time will be another episode of Fairly Just BECCA, and then another one Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time.
All right, and tomorrow is the Chaos 120 reunion, and it's 6 p.m. Central, and that's going to be so 7 p.m. Eastern and 4 p.m. Pacific. And it should be very interesting, man. It'll be good to hang out with some old people. We used to be friendly with each other. We used to be friends. So
Whose channel is that on?
It's going to be on Six's on next 6 minutes. I think it's the next 6 live streams. If not, it's on his channel the next 6 minutes. It'll be one or the other. I recommend subscribing to both. People are going to be there, include Ajax, if you remember him. Let's see, Veteran Mountain Man, who's fam and lives about 2.5 hours from me. So if it goes down, I'm going there. I don't know, serious, man. This dude fucking grows and grows his own tobacco and cures it and stuff, right? So yeah, he's jamming. And let's see who else. Weibo Jones is going to be there, and I'm forgetting somebody. It's going to be a bad thing. Of course, Six is going to be there, and so it should be interesting. We should have some good. We used to have some really good, fun conversations, man. I'll put it that way. So, anyway, so you know what I do next Sunday. I'm going to be talking with Drone Tech. I don't even know his real first name or anything, but I guess I'll call him Droney. Drone Tech, and then next week I don't know what we'll be doing. I'm thinking about releasing the second part of that, or repackaging the first part of the Korea thing. North Korea thing from last week, and put that up on BitChute, and then and maybe talk with BECCA about doing the second part of it, and just so that's out there. And anyway, I don't want to get close to, because I want this to be able to go up on Odyssey. So, all right, Miss BECCA, I don't have anything else to say. How about you?
I just want to thank Michael real quick. Michael Hatfield says, the others can wait. We have to support our awesome smaller channels, and you are awesome.
Well, man, thank you so much. We appreciate all of y'all. All right. And on that note, I'm out.
Later.
Play some Red Alert. Yeah, like Red Alert 2, maybe. I don't know.
I can't.